cabeza, ya empezamos como es. Mi música no discrimina a nadie, así que vamos a romper. Toda mi gente se mueve, mira el ritmo como los tiene. Hago música que entretiene. El mundo nos quiere, me quiere a mí. Toda mi gente se mueve.
Something I've always found funny when it comes to people and in the Western world, and they always want to be extra or always try to troll and shit like that. The funniest thing I've ever found about people in the Western world, especially people who don't speak Spanish, or should I say non-Spanish speakers, is they'll use Google Translate. Okay, cool. I'm there to effort. Cool. But, like, they'll always try to pretend to be somebody else that they're not. Which is, they'll try to be another person, whole entire another person that they're not. And the irony to that is, if you've ever actually spoke Spanish to somebody or watched two Hispanic speakers speak Spanish to each other, English very rarely comes up in the conversation. Every now and again, there might be like a sentence or two that has like an English word or two in it, but it's always structured with one or two English words, and then it goes back to Spanish, if you know what I mean. That is the most a Latin speaker is willing to do as far as English. If they can speak Spanish to each other, they'll just speak straight Spanish to each other. Here's where people mess up when they try to troll other people and try to act like somebody else. The problem with it is what Westerners don't understand, or where they fall short on, is every country in Latin America has its own, has a general Spanish speaking, it has some general Spanish across the board, yes. However, certain countries have their own dialect, and then within those countries they have different dialects, or how they are perceived, or how they carry themselves. Good case is Colombia. There's two dominant groups of people in Colombia. I'm not going to say who it is because I don't want to give that person the ability to troll somebody else and fake like they're somebody else. But there's two groups. They don't get along with each other. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. And it all depends on what's going on. One group speaks one way. Another group speaks another way. When you're used to speaking to somebody from Colombia and they're from one of those groups, you know their cadence, you know how they talk, you know everything about that. However, if you're a Westerner, you don't understand it. So you try to mimic it. There's an understanding in Colombia why a certain group speaks this way, or a certain group is viewed this way, and another group is viewed this way. It's very positive, or, you know, one group is viewed very positive or seeing things very positively, and the other one's seen as viewing things very negatively, in a negative light, if you know what I mean. There's a reasoning for that. And this is what Westerners don't understand when they try to troll somebody else who's a Spanish speaker and pretend like they're somebody else. The problem is, you have to do, I mean, it's cute that you could do that. However, you could tell the difference between speaking to somebody, the normal person, is not speaking to the regular person. You're not speaking to the person anymore. Because there's a certain cadence and a certain way that they carry themselves in a conversation. On top of that, the person who tried to do it lacked the knowledge of the two different groups in Colombia. On top of that, he didn't really understand the culture of Colombia to actually pass as a Colombian, if you know what I mean. Herein lies the rub when it comes to people trolling and bitch think when it comes to men. What you can't do is pretend to be something that you're not and not fully understand what you're trying to fake. It's sad, but it's true. Given the fact that I actually grew up in Colombia, in Palenque, for a little bit, understand the difference between the various types of Colombians for that reason. The problem is you don't. That just lets me know that you're faker than the $2 bill, a $100 bill with Trump's face on it, for the most part. But yeah, I've always found it sickening how Westerners would do shit like that and fake being something that they're not when they don't fully understand the culture or what they're trying to get their